have two quotes that I want to read in a Bible verse. So there's this quote from Tony Robbins that says that no matter how many mistakes you make or how slow your progress, you're still ahead of everyone else who isn't trying. Let me repeat that. It says no matter how many mistakes you make or how slow your progress, you're still ahead of everyone else who isn't trying. Let me read another Chinese proverb, or rather a Chinese proverb that says, be not afraid of going slowly, but be afraid only of standing still. So be not afraid of going slowly, but be afraid only of standing still. So one of the things that I like about the word consistency, it doesn't necessarily mean getting it right. It just means just keep doing whatever it is that you're doing. Whether there is motivation or not, whether there is motivation or not, just keep doing whatever it is that you're doing. I'll give you guys an example. So I was telling Pastor Frank down there that how I've been drinking water this whole year. I've been drinking water at least 1.5 liters of water every day. And I was telling them how great and how different that is from the Emily of last year. Because last year I could even have stayed even 2 weeks without taking water. Like I could sit down and ask myself, when was the last time I actually took water? You know? Because I was taking everything else. I was taking milk. Actually, I used to take all my meals with milk. So I was never really taking water. And then Miruka was asking me, so why are you doing it? And I was telling him, I'm doing it not because of anything, but I've realized I'm an adult. Can I just behave like an adult? Let me just, do healthy things. Like there's nobody who's going to come and say, have you drank your water? Have you eaten your vegetables? Like this is me. Like I'm an adult. So let me just start doing adult things. And it's been quite a journey. It's been 3 months of me drinking water, at least 1.5 liters of water every day. But that hasn't been easy. It has taken a lot of consistency. It has taken a lot of intentionality. Like every time I'm going to bed, I have to make sure that I have water next to me so that when I wake up, that's the first thing that I drink. I have alarms. I actually have alarms. Sometimes the alarms go off like in meetings and people asking, what's that alarm for drinking water? And then they're like, then I say, let me switch it off. And then, but you didn't drink water. Like even people are holding me accountable on my. I have like 5 alarms. I have one at 7 a.m., at 9, at 11. At Yani, I have completely decided that I'm going to learn how to do this because I'm an adult. And I feel like that has helped me even in other things, like even just the consistency of doing the Bible summary that I've been doing. So I started doing a Bible summary last year, in January. So it's been a whole year of going through the Bible from Genesis to where we are at now, which is the book of 1 Samuel. And I do a chapter every day, or at least a chapter every Monday to Friday. Then I take a break, then I go again on Monday to Friday. And that has taught me consistency. It has taught me whether I am motivated or not, whether I feel like there are lessons. Kwanza when the book of Leviticus, I was like, no, what am I even doing? Like, me mwenye hata sielewi what I'm reading. It's not even making sense for me anymore. But I would be like, you know what? I said I would do this. And now because I've told people, can I just be consistent in it? And I told God, I really want to be consistent in this. And I want that consistency to also just, play in other areas of my life, to kind of just, flow in other areas of my life. And it's been such an amazing thing. Consistency is such an amazing thing. Even when you're doing things that you don't like. Another example, I don't like reading books. I think I've said this to Pastor Frank. He rolls his eyes because his house is more books than anything else. But I really don't like reading books. I'm like, put it in a movie, I'll watch it. But this year, I've told myself I'm going to train myself to read books because it's a good practice. There's so much that you can learn from different people. And these people are not going to put these things in a movie. Like, let me stop dreaming that they will put them in a movie. So let me just start reading books. So I've made a routine to actually read at least a chapter of a book or read at least 20 minutes in a day. And since the beginning of the year, I've actually read 4 books. It's been... I can't believe it. Like, I'm just like, who, me? I've read 4 books? Oh my goodness, that's amazing.
That is
Consistency.
actually more than I've read this year, because I haven't started my reading yet.
Well, maybe all my books combined, like it's like equals to one book. Maybe I'm reading smaller ones, so I'm like, let me start small.
Yeah.
But I'm impressed at just how consistency can move you from a place where you are not drinking water at all to this point. You are not reading books at all to this point. That has completely blown my mind. Consistency is really, really more important than motivation.
Yes.
My lesson for collective and for each of you is that consistency beats any day motivation. If you're consistent through it, what happens is that you build discipline. You get however much foolish you may seem doing it, but there's discipline that you build as you do it. When you're consistent with it, it builds your character. And so however much his character developed, his character still remained that he can now sit and joke about it. But despite whatever happened, he can speak about it. The thing about collective is that with the consistency that we've had, including during COVID, because when COVID happened, we were about to switch off. We were done. We were like, because
I think that was a clear sign for this thing is not meant to happen.
So true.
Yeah.
Because a few weeks before, when we were planning to launch, to transition from being a fellowship to a church, we sat and we were discussing, me, you, and Edu at some Mafudo downtown.
Yes, outside at Tufungamano House.
Tufungamano House.
Yes.
And the discussion was, are we really going to transition to a church? Is it really worth it? And so it was a prayer point that we were at. And what happens is that we were like, yes, let's start. Then we start, then we are told, go home. So it was a clear answer that this thing, to us, quote unquote, that it was not meant to happen. But then what we did, or what we learned with consistency is, despite the obstacle, despite the challenge, we have to find a way that collective still runs and still spreads and speaks God's word. The consistency with it was that the first Sunday for collective, we did a video recording with Pastor Frank's phone. If you go to our history on our YouTube page, look at the first video. It's the cheapest, longest video we have. I don't know, because I remember sending it, we sent it on our...
I'm even ashamed.
And it took...
Actually, the thing is, because, so we didn't even have a YouTube channel.
Yes.
So we uploaded it on Google Drive and we were sharing a link. So guys were like, man, this thing is heavy, it's long, it's unwatchable. But that was our first video. It was recorded on phone. Yeah. And I was holding the phone like, gosh. Wow, I'm just being shocked at the level of shadiness. I have the blue phone. I was holding my blue phone like this for as long as that video was.
Yes.
And that's where it started. So that's what you're alluding
Now
to.
imagine, since 2020, up till last week, who watched Pastor Emily's video on our YouTube? Pastor Emily had a video on our YouTube. Please go and watch. She preached heavily. Up until last week, if you see the content that we have as collective online, you will be amazed from what we had before to what we have now. Consistency beats all the motivation that you have. You may be inspired to be the best, whatever, but if you're not consistent with it, there's nowhere you're going. You will be psyched up that God has given me this talent to sing, to preach, to teach. But if you're not consistent, there's nowhere you're going. The consistency that Pastor Emily is mentioning of her recording, the growth that she can see of her recording her videos up until now, please go and look for, what's your name on the channel?
Reflections by Wakeji Kamori.
It's such a powerful YouTube channel that you can see the growth, but the growth is linked to her consistency. Proverbs. Proverbs chapter 10 verse 4. Lazy hands make for poverty, but diligent hands bring wealth. The diligence is the consistency. If you're diligent with what you do, if you're consistent with what you do, I kid you not, what you see here at Collective is not what we were 5 years ago. Who you see Pastor Ebeli here at 5 years ago, you cannot compare. Consistency beats motivation.
Consistency beats motivation.